All right, welcome back to another edition of Quadrant True Project Management. I'm Kurt Bell, your Q2 PM for today, and we're continuing this series of lessons on the Q2 PM SharePoint tools that we use for project management. Today, we're going to be talking about a very important tool called the risk log. What's interesting is that over time, the risk log developed into its own log. Everybody knows, if you've attended classes to date, that we have a dedicated log file, but the risk log really needed special handling. And for that, let's go ahead and dive right in and have a look up on the screen. There we go. So here's let's go back to the home page. This is our Oingo Boingo World Tour 2020. That's the project that we're running for this particular endeavor and lesson. The goal, of course, is to take the band Oingo Boingo out on a multi-venue, multi-city, multi-nation tour throughout the year of 2020, and we're preparing for that now as project managers. Over here on the left, for those of you who this is the first time you've been with us, our tools are listed across the left over here. We have all kinds of things: the notebook, document library, testing log, team list, and there's the actual log file right there. But just below that is the risk log. And to allow us to demonstrate the use and the utility of this particular tool, let's go ahead and introduce a risk into the project. And I'm going to make that risk one that hopefully won't touch too close to anybody that's had medical problems, but we're going to induce, just in fiction, a medical condition onto one of the band members that they've been diagnosed with something. Nothing terrible, but maybe the kind of thing that maybe will disallow them from being able to join the band on tour. I don't know what kind of, we'll just call it carpal tunnel. There you go, and it's for the guitar player, right? Or the drummer could suffer from that too, right? Yeah. Okay. What's the drummer? Who should we pick on? The guitar player or the drummer?
We're leave names out of. We'll just say the drummer.
There you go. The drummer has been diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. So, given it's a rock and roll band, that's about as big a risk as they come for their tour package, right? Wow. Okay, so but I can already begin to explore in my mind, ways that we can handle this, right? Even if we decide to go forward. So we've got a risk now. In the course of a project, when the risk comes out, as the PM, I've got my risk radar, running all the time, and I go, there's a risk, right? If we're in the course of a meeting, I'll have the project notebook open, and I will record that risk in the actual meeting log. So let's go ahead and open up the notebook right here. Go ahead and right-click on that to open it up into a new tab. And we're not going to worry about instantiating a new page for this. Let's just go ahead and use the one we've got right here. Let's imagine this meeting is underway. This is the 8/6 meeting, which is just from last week. And we hear, yeah, mates, I've been suffering some pain. They're not British, right?
No.
Hey guys, I've been suffering some pain in my wrist, man. And I went and saw the doctor, and he said, I might have carpal tunnel. Whoa, and his bandmates are like, wow, man, that's too bad. And people are saying, oh my gosh, now as a project manager, whoa, really? That's a potential risk. So in the log over here, I'm going to go ahead and record, I don't know how to spell carpal tunnel. Carpal tunnel, is that right? Tunny. Carpal tunnel with the drummer, or just drummer carpal tunnel. How about that? Drummer carpal tunnel. Okay. The drummer has indicated he has been diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. And by the way, everybody, this meeting, this session here should finish at the bottom of the hour. Even though it's on the books for a full hour, in fact, these usually go only a half an hour, so I'll keep it quick. So this assigned staff, who do you think is assigned to work on this? The PM. And that's me. Okay, good. My backup will be, if we have a backup PM, we'll assign that backup PM. So that'll be Harry, because Harry and I do everything together. And then the due date, I'm going to give myself about 2 weeks to get this all prepared. So that'll take me up to the 27th. 08/27/19. And what category, what is this? What do you guys think this is? It's a risk. That's right. That's right. Categories where you identify, is this an action item, a decision, a change, and a risk, or whatever the heck it is, right? And we've just identified everything, right? Good. Now we have our item. We'll add an E to the end of syndrome, and we're ready to go. Now, in the course of the meeting, now maybe the band has seen that I just typed that up on the screen. I'll then level set with everybody. Okay, hey everybody. They've been talking for 5 minutes about how bad it is and stuff like that. Hey guys, I've identified that this might be a potential risk for the project. I've listed it up on our log right here. It's called a drummer carpal tunnel. The drummer has indicated he has been diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. I'm going to assign that to myself to manage this risk. Harry's going to back me up. I'm going to have a risk. I'm setting a goal for myself to have this risk addressed in some way, remediated, accepted, or avoided by the 27th. That's 2 weeks out. How's that sound to everybody?
Carpal spelled wrong.
It is? Oh yeah, yes, thank you. Carpal, there we go, thank you. So good, we're in good shape, and I'll go ahead and put in my supervisor as well, because hey, now we know who to go to if I'm dragging my heels. Okay, so now, after the meeting is done, I go back to my desk, and what do I do as a good project manager with this information?
You put it in the risk log.
Yeah, I log it, formally log it. It's not enough to leave it just sitting right here. I'll forget about it, right? Do two things. One, I'm going to record it in the formal log, and then the second thing, I'm going to add it to the
Risk log. Risk. Project story.
the story. That's right, add it to the story. Put it in the log, add it to the story, in that order. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to the project page, scroll over here, not log, but risk log. Click on that. Okay guys, list or library.
List.
It's a list. That's right, not a document library, it's a list. Right, now it looks empty right here because we don't have any risks on the project. Let's add our first risk. We're 10 minutes in, we have 20 minutes to go. I'm going to click on new, and just like before, it'll open up the item right there. Now, for the title and description, I am going to literally copy and paste from here, bang. And for the description, this is why it's really important to read the title and the description to the whole team to make sure that we really have captured this just right. Now, I know that this is an accurate description of the problem because I got everybody nodding their heads up and down when I told them about it in the meeting, right? So try to be as verbose or whatever as you possibly can. So now, the risk title, drummer carpal tunnel, risk description and options. The drummer has indicated he has been diagnosed with carpal tunnel syndrome. Ah, okay, taking off my project manager hat now, I'm going to put on my business analyst hat on, right? Now to come up with some options, right? So, I'm going to say options for this risk include, or no, are, not include. That means, include means there's more that I didn't list, right? So what do you think? What are some options? Now, what we're going to do is, as a bad PM, I would go to the project, who am I going to communicate the risk to?
Sponsor.
Sponsor. If I was a bad PM, I would just tell them about the risk. And it's like I like to say, it's like throwing a bunch of garbage in their lap and say, take care of this, right? As a good project manager and business analyst, I'm going to go to them, I'm going to communicate the problem, and I'm going to give them some options and some pros and cons and even a recommendation, make their life easy. So I get to do the hard work. So what are some options with carpal tunnel for this project? Not for carpal tunnel itself, but what are the options for the project? Can we brainstorm a few?
Substitute the drummer.
Okay, yeah. Substitute the drummer. That's one. What else?
I can think of a bad option, but
What's that?
You could use a drum track,
Use
like a
Milli Vanilli. Yeah.
Vanilla it basically.
Yeah.
Milli Vanilli.
Drum track, AKA, I can't spell that. Milli Vanilli. Oh gosh, option. We'll leave that. I know that's not spelled right. Okay, just a second. Okay, and any others? Treatment. There you go. 3. I'm sorry, if someone is out there moving something around, could you please mute your speaker, please? Or mute your microphone? I'm going to go ahead and do it for you. Let's see. There, it's gone away. Okay, good. So we have three options. Substitute the drummer, use a drum track, or treatment. Are there any other? That seems pretty comprehensive, right? Okay. Now I label these as there's three types of risk ways to manage risk. Those are what? I mentioned them just a minute ago.
Remediate,
Remediate, which we call mitigate. Mitigate, acceptance, or avoidance. Avoidance, right. So mitigate means that we're going to fix it somehow, right? Acceptance means we're just going to live with it and the universe will somehow work itself out, right? And avoidance means we're going to find a path around that problem. So what is substitute the drummer? Is that mitigate, accept, or avoid?
I want to say avoid.
I think you're right. And sometimes it's hard. It's gray, a little bit gray sometimes. How about use a drum track? Yeah, I think so. That's a mitigate. And how about treatment?
Accept.
Is it really accept? Let's think about it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just pushing it out there. So the treatment, what could treatment?
You're accepting your drummer and giving him medication to do what he needs to do.
But what happens if the treatment doesn't work?
That's a vote for acceptance, because
Yeah.
what you're doing, you're accepting the fact that the drummer might risk. You're accepting the fact this is a risk. The drummer might not make it through the concert.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So we're going to list out in the pros and the cons. The con might be all bets are off,
Yeah.
right? Unless you choose your own. Okay. Good. See how it's starting to lay out already. If we want to sponsor now, just with that, they would look quite favorably upon us, right? We've actually given them something to think about. Now, the things that we want to do are describe give it a summary. Substitute the drummer. Find some.
Whoa. There's also a possibility of a hybrid of those.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right, so you could basically say, we could mitigate, while he's getting treatment, we have the drum machine as sort of the backup option. You know? And if he does flake out in the middle of the concert, you can flip the drum machine on.
Okay. So how about a hybrid solution, right?
Right.
And we'll
2 plus 3.
Okay. There you go. I love it. What creative thinking. 2 plus 3. Great. And what is this? Is this a mitigated, accept, or an avoid?
I think it's a mitigate.
I think so too. Yeah. Okay, good. So now I'm not going in the interest of time, we only have 14 minutes left. I'm going to just kind of show you how we could do this. We're just going to put a single sentence under each one to describe it. Avoid means find someone else to fill this role. Mitigate, use a drum track, fake it, right? And treatment, try to address the issue, right? And then hybrid solution, develop a hybrid plan, right? I hate being redundant.
So basically, continue with treatment, but if it fails,
Continue
bring out the drum machine.
treatment with drum machine backup plan.
There you go.
I love it. Okay, now last thing we're going quickly. What are the pros and cons? Let's just list a couple. What's a pro of avoidance of substituting the drummer?
Your guaranteed performance.
Guaranteed performance. And I'm only just going to give one for each. What's a con?
He's not original then.
Yeah. So we could say, what would that be? Would it be customer dissatisfaction? Yeah. Not
not as advertised, right?
Oh, drummer and potential blowback or fallout or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are the pros, one pro of a drum track?
Again, guaranteed performance.
Guaranteed performance. And 3, 4, 5. And what's a big con for this? Milli Vanilli syndrome?
No, people won't appreciate that it's,
Dishonest?
yeah.
Or you could have a technical difficulty with the drum track.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a
Really
real good
trouble.
one.
Yeah, exactly. The vanilla.
Yes, open to technical glitch. Glitch, that's a good one, yeah. Okay, how about the treatment? What's a pro to that?
Performance of original member.
Performance of original member. What's a con?
It's unreliable.
Unreliable, potentially unreliable solution, right? Solution, there's no guarantee. We basically accept, that's why we're accepting the risk, right? And what is a pro of the hybrid solution?
It addresses the con for number 3.
So can we say like fewer cons, or how do we say that? So con. So with one pro, what is it? How do we say that in words?
Still guaranteeing the performance. Because of
Attempts to provide a full performance, or something like that, right? You get the gist. I'm trying to capture the gist of what you're saying, right? Because it's not a guarantee,
Yeah.
but it attempts to do that, right? So that's good. And what's a con of it? See number 3.
He might fail in the middle of a song.
Oh, yeah. What interesting. Yeah. How do we describe that? Intermittent failure risk or something? Failure risk. Now, of course, if we were doing the real job, we would flesh this out in better vocabulary. We'd have more than one pro and con, everything, right? Okay, of these, now we have 19 minutes left, or 9 minutes left. Of these, which, as project managers and team members, which one do we want to recommend to the sponsor? 4. You like 4 as the solution? Do we all vote for 4? I vote for 4. Okay, so we're going to put recommended. Great. And so thank you, Jeff, for suggesting a winner there. I'm going to move the recommended one to the top. Okay, I'm going to change the numbering. So I always like to lead with our best foot forward. This really comes across well with sponsors. That tells them that, wow, these PMs really thought this stuff out, and they led with the one that they thought that was the best. And I swear to gosh, there hasn't been a single case that I've done this that the sponsor hasn't selected the one I recommended, or that we as a team recommended. That's never happened. Okay, good. Now here's where we need to do a little bit of ranking, because what if we've got 5 or 6 competing risks out there, and we need to know, well, which one's more important, right? You're going to use a little bit of gut feeling, right? What's the probability of the risk occurrence? 1 means low, 5 means high. Well, we have to kind of spitball it. I'm saying he's over there going, man, I can't even hold a damn
I'd
pin.
say it's 5.
It's a 5? Yeah, right? And it's been building up for years. Okay, what about impact? What is the impact if the risk occurs? Same scale. 5, right. So now, everybody agree? So we got 5 by 5, right? So now to get the risk rating, take probability times impact, that's 25, right? Now, risk urgency. How urgent is it that we address this risk? 1 to 5. 5, I think this is a biggie. So now, our risk severity level is, what is that, 125?
125.
125. Okay, now that's going to be the number we're going to use to sort our risks, to figure out which ones are we going to address first. So the time frame, when will this risk occur? And usually this can be like, okay, maybe the vendor's going to go out of business in August 2020, right? Well, August 2020, right? This is happening right now, right? But it doesn't really impact it, but it impacts the project now.
When are they going out on tour?
We haven't got any dates yet. Just
Okay,
something
so-
in 2020.
He's saying it's happening now. So.
He's over there, he can't even pick up the straw.
Okay, so that said,
I would say now, because what if they need to
Yes, now.
practice?
Effective immediately.
because it's possible if he has a few months, he could get this treated in time.
Yeah.
It's gone away.
So now, we have done basically at this point our due diligence as project managers. Okay, I would then go ahead, the rest of the stuff, we're gonna come back to this in a second. We only have 6 minutes left. I'm gonna click on the save button and I'm gonna create this risk, okay? There it is, right there, drummer carpal tunnel. Now, what's the next thing I said I'm gonna do?
Story.
Story, add it to the story. So I'm gonna go ahead and you can do this, click here and say copy link, capture the link, and I'm gonna go into the story. I'm gonna say, where's this gonna go? Is it gonna belong into the pre-project evaluation, discover band's favorite snack? That's stuff. I'm gonna just go ahead and add it here for right now. This is not an AI, this is a risk. And we're gonna call it drummer carpal tunnel and assign to me. And I'm gonna hyperlink this thing. Bang. And what color does it get to be?
Yellow.
Yellow. Yeah, this is an open item. Right. Now, I've added it to the story, so I've completed my work. The next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask myself, what kind of communication do I need to give the sponsor? If I think that what I've got here is enough, I'll do one of two things. I'll either phone them up or go to their office or arrange a meeting and go over it with them in person. And I want to do that, arrange a meeting to go over it with them in person. I don't like to send risks to sponsors wholesale and say, here, throw this on your lap, right? I want to be there to mitigate the impact, right? Now, it's possible that what we've written is not enough. And if that's the case, you are prepared. Over here, there's a section called reports. If you click on reports, there are 2 blank reports here. One is an issue report and the other is a risk report. So we created these for those sponsors and there are sponsors out there like this. They want you to present them with a very beautiful document that lays everything out in detail. They don't want to be going to no SharePoint list and looking at stuff. They want a report that they can have on their desk. We've got you covered. Okay, all you're going to do here is go ahead and open this item up. Don't edit this item explicitly. This is a template. You can copy it and save it aside, and then open it. And let's go ahead and open it in Word, the local copy of Word. Here it comes. And I'm not going to go into all the details on this, but this document is basically made to cover every base. Make this a little bit bigger. And it's all filled out right now with like a sample project, right? So we've put the project name in, who's the project manager, initiated by, who brought this up, that would be the drummer, who's the project sponsor, that's the person that's gonna read this report, what date did this start, when is the due date to get her done. And then here I've got some notes to the project manager, what's the risk title, we've already got that, what's the description, and then you're gonna go down here, and then this is where you're going to rank it based on the ranking we gave before. This is clearly a high priority. This is where you're going to list all of the options. 1, 2, 3. Give it, is it mitigate, accept, give it a title, list the pros and the cons, and that's all you do. And then you present this to the sponsor, do it in person, explain everything, walk them through the document. 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10, they're going to pick the one you recommend, they're going to sign the document, and you just adjust your risk. And then you go back and log it. So we've got just a few minutes left.
So 1 document per risk?
1 document, no, I only use that if I've got a sponsor that demands that. So yeah, but if that's the case, then 1 document per risk. And you will be glad that you have that. Because when that risk, okay, let's imagine we're 6 months into this band and they chose to accept the risk, right? And we're 6 months into this thing and the drummer's carpal tunnel flares up mid-concert, he can't play anymore, we don't have a backup, tour dates, he says, I give up, I quit, I'm going home, I'm going back to LA, I'm going back to Malibu, you guys I'm done, right? They're gonna be looking for a paper trail. And you're gonna have a paper trail that shows that this risk was communicated and accepted. Can't labor how important that is. Now, it's not a matter of placing blame, it's a matter of accountability. Okay, coming back. Now, let's open up that risk again, under the risk log. drummer carpal tunnel. Let's say that I have that meeting with the sponsor, or maybe I'm meeting with the sponsor right now, and I go ahead and click on this item. If you click on Edit All, it opens it up nicely. And now, I come down here, and now, maybe the sponsor accepts our recommendation, which is to mitigate with a hybrid solution. Then I'm going to come down here and I'm going to say that the risk strategy was to mitigate. Now you may be wondering, wait a minute, Kurt, I thought there were just three. There's actually more ways to handle risks that are listed there. I just named the top one. But what really jumps out at you, why do I have some of these listed as opportunity? Like accept as an opportunity and accept as also a threat. Can anyone think about why a risk can also be an opportunity?
In this case, you probably could delay the tour based on the fact that he needs more time to heal.
Yeah, that's one. In the interest of time, let me just throw this out here. What if we're Apple and we're about to launch the iPhone 11, right? And some risk comes up that Android has developed a new feature that all the research says the teens are just going to love, that they're going to want that. And we don't have that in this product. That's a risk to the project, but it may be an opportunity as well, right? It may be a risk that if we choose to say we're going to address this by mitigation and we're going to consider this as an opportunity to make our product more competitive and better. It's not a risk. All risks are not bad things. Some risks are wonderful things. So in this case, but that's PM 202, 303 stuff. I'm still working on that. So here we agreed it was to mitigate, right? So we chose to mitigate. It's a threat. And then the justification for the risk strategy, this is where we're going to listen to the sponsor, and the sponsor is going to say mitigation through risk through medical treatment, and a backup plan is the most comprehensive option. Now, it could be that the sponsor is going to say, I don't like any of these things. What are you talking about? No drum track. I don't want nothing to do with a drum track. You know what that did to Milli Vanilli's career, right? So, and then they'll give us another one, right? So we've got that, and then we're going to say the risk status. Hey, the sponsor signed the document. It's no longer open. It's closed, right? And we're going to go ahead. If I did create that risk report, I would hyperlink it here. So I would have a link to it for future reference. I could also add attachments. Maybe there's a signed PDF or something like that, or that I just want to attach it. In any event, I save it, and that changes it. Look, it's an open, and that's going to change it when I refresh. Now, should be a closed risk now. There we go. Right. If you look at my larger projects, you'll see a nice library of closed risks, and you'll see that the risks are categorized based on how we chose to handle them. In this case, we've got one risk that was closed with the mitigate threat option. We are in golden shape. In just a few minutes over, what do I do in the story now?
Add that link to the story.
Don't need to add it. It's already there. At the very next meeting, remember, at the very next meeting, say, okay, everybody, we're going to fast forward a week, right? We're at the next meeting. Hey, everybody, I met with the sponsor. We went over the options. The sponsor has selected number 3.
So you make a note saying the risk has been
Precisely.
mitigated, accepted. What do we do here?
Right. I go ahead and click on it here, and I would then where do I do that? In the comments, right? And I would say risk option discussed with team and risk formally closed, right? And guys, do I need to put my name or timestamp?
Yep.
Nope, because it will remember. It's just like all comment fields. There it's saved, there's with my name, and that's it. Then I come back to the story, and ta-da! I mark that there, mark it as there. Do I remove the checkbox?
No,
No, why not?
because you want to include it in your report later.
That's right. Keep the checkbox there. You'll deselect the checkbox in the next one, but you want to leave it there until you do your next status report. That's how you know that that's the stuff you have to report on your status report. And with that, we are about 3 minutes over time. I'm sorry for the overtime. Does that help Are there any questions about the risk log? No? Okay, well, I hope that those of you out there who have your own projects to run, I hope that you keep your radar going, keep that risk radar going, just like you keep your action item radar going, and it really does help to not sweep these things under the rug. They will come back to haunt you if you choose to ignore them or you choose to let them simply hang there. A risk that is not completed, that has not been decided upon by the sponsor, is just as bad as a risk that was not recorded in the first place. So let's take care of those risks. You'll be happy that you did. You'll sleep better at night and your project will run smoother. And with that, that's it for today.